Notre Dame versus Boise State is right around the corner for the Fighting Irish, and it's a big one for Notre Dame to get back in the win column once again, make it 3 in a row. I'm Mike Singer, with me, Tyler James, to give three keys, score predictions, and we'll take a look at the Vegas lines for this matchup. Folks, please hit the thumbs up on this video, subscribe to the Blue and Gold YouTube channel for more content, and let's dive into those keys, Mr. James. Your first one is corralling the Boise State running back trio.
Yeah, Boise State does not have a Heisman finalist in the backfield this season like it did with Ashton Genty last year, but it does have three talented backs who share carries, and Boise State sort of treats it as whoever has the hot hand will start leading that group on a game-by-game basis. Dylan Riley is their leading rusher right now with 48 carries for 360 yards and 5 touchdowns, but Sire Gaines and Malik Sherrod have had good moments as well for Boise State, and I think that will be a big part of what they will try to do. I don't know how successful Boise State will be in doing it, but I think there might be some reason for optimism from Boise State based on how Notre Dame's run defense played against Arkansas last week. I thought particularly in the first half, before the game got too lopsided, Notre Dame's run defense wasn't playing its best. Arkansas rushed for 122 yards in the first half. The good news for Notre Dame's defense is that Boise State doesn't have a quarterback as athletic as Taylon Green, who ironically transferred out of Boise State a couple of years ago. So that should make the task a little easier. Maddox Madsen doesn't have a lot of design runs in the Boise State offense. He'll scramble some as a quarterback, but they're not someone that they're relying on for big gains as we saw Taylon Green did with Arkansas. So I think the focus will be on stopping that running back trio and making sure that Boise State doesn't get a lot of momentum there.
Yeah, of course, a Boise State team that is 3-1. They opened the season on the road on a Thursday night, losing to USF 34-7, and then beating Eastern Washington by a good bit. Air Force by 12 points at home, and then on the road, and then blew out Appalachian State at home on September 27th. So, Boise State's first real test since losing that game to the Bulls. Your second key, Notre Dame offensive line domination. Man, this group looks a lot different, Tyler, than that week one game against Miami.
Yeah, I don't think we've seen a truly dominant performance yet from Notre Dame's offensive line this season, and that Notre Dame has still had plenty of offensive success without that. But I think this matchup against Boise State gives Notre Dame an opportunity to really dominate with the offensive line. There's been ups and downs with whether it's pass protection or run blocking. I think that this will be an opportunity for Notre Dame to improve in run blocking from a week ago and give even more holes to Jeremiah Love and Jadarian Price. And then pass protection was probably its best it's been this season last week against Arkansas. I would expect that to continue this week against Boise State and Notre Dame keeping quarterback CJ Carr clean. And we've seen what he's done so far this season when he's kept clean. He's very dangerous in terms of what he can do throwing the ball downfield. So I think this is a real opportunity for the offensive line to look like the version that we expected it to look like coming into this season.
All right, third key, Tyler, limiting Boise State's big plays.
Yeah, I think this is one I said last week. Like, we're just going to keep this one on here until until Notre Dame's defense does a better job of it. There are only 10 teams with more plays of 20-plus yards from scrimmage than Notre Dame's offense this season. Notre Dame has 30 of them, and Boise State is one of them. Boise State has 32 plays of 20-plus yards this season, so that will be something that Notre Dame tries to limit. Notre Dame's defense hasn't done great at that this season. They're tied for 87th in college football in allowing 21 plays of 20-plus yards. Even last week with an overall good performance against Arkansas, Arkansas had 7 plays of 20 yards or more with 5 passing plays and a pair of rushes of more than 20 yards. So that will remain a key focus for Notre Dame's defense, limiting those big plays. I think Notre Dame should have a good chance of doing that. I think Boise State's numbers there are probably elevated by playing some poor competition outside of USF so far this season. And it should be harder to get those big plays against Notre Dame's defense, but we've seen Notre Dame's defense give up more big plays this season than we would have anticipated.
Yeah, and this is definitely a good update that we got on Thursday from Marcus Freeman, that Leonard Moore is probable for this game. Like, how big of a boost is this for the Irish?
Yeah, very big. Obviously, Leonard Moore, probably your best player on defense, but I think beyond that, it's just like now we'll get a chance to see, okay, the evolution of this secondary in terms of the personnel that Notre Dame wants to use. You have everyone available in terms of being healthy if he can give it a go. And now Tay Johnson has solidified himself as a starter at the safety spot. Devontae Smith has solidified himself at the nickelback position. Dallas Golden is rotating in there. So getting probably Notre Dame's best chance of putting a strong secondary out there with Leonard Moore this week, I think would be a very good thing for Notre Dame's defense. Maybe take some pressure off of the front four, having to get pressure on the quarterback, but certainly you want to be able to rush the passer well. But yeah, I think getting Leonard Moore back sort of speaks for itself, but I'm interested in sort of the big picture of what that looks like. And then maybe like moving forward, does Leonard Moore move around more on the field? What do they do in terms of fielder boundary with Christian Gray? I think there's some opportunities for some changes there moving forward still. But getting Leonard Moore back is step one in that.
Let's take a look at the Vegas lines. This opened as a 16.5 point spread. Of course, with Notre Dame being the favorite, that's jumped up. It jumped up quickly to 20.5. Tyler, can you scroll down a tad so I can see the percentages there on like the spread bets? But over under at 62.5. So yeah, 69% of bettors on Notre Dame 20.5. People liking the over, of course, with how many points Notre Dame has scored and given up on defense. The over has been hitting for Notre Dame. And people liking, obviously, 98% on the money line. And yeah, Jeremiah Love heavily favored as an anytime touchdown scorer. So the over-under that I saw for Boise State specifically for their total was 21.5. I like the under there, especially now getting the news that Leonard Moore is probable to play. And predicting this one, Tyler, I've got Notre Dame 44, Boise State 20. I think that Boise State is not very good, and I think that Notre Dame is very good offensively, and the defense is, I feel like, starting to come into its own a little bit.
Our scores aren't too far off. I have Notre Dame 45, Boise State 27. That was before I knew for sure like Leonard Moore's status, so I wouldn't be surprised if that score for Boise State is lower than that. But I just need to see it more with consistency from this Notre Dame defense in terms of shutting down an opposing offense. So I guess that means I don't have Notre Dame covering with the way the line has gone up. But I would not be surprised if Notre Dame covers. I just think Notre Dame's offense is probably routinely going to get in the 40s moving forward this season. And I think they'll show that again this Saturday.
Yeah, I could see like it being 45-20 and then Boise State gets like a depth chart utilization time touchdown. Excuse me, Marcus Freeman. I'm sure Marcus is watching, so excuse me, Coach Freeman. Depth chart utilization time is coined on the blue and gold message board. All right, that is going to do it for this video. Again, 3:30 p.m. Eastern time kick between Boise State and the number 21 Notre Dame Fighting Irish. You can find the game, of course, on NBC. You can find preview coverage, live coverage, post-game coverage, recruiting updates over at blueandgold.com. So log into our website, hit the thumbs up on this video, subscribe to the channel if you have not done so yet. And as always, we will catch you next time.